you've said. And unity is one thing that.
Good evening, guys. I hope I'm loud enough to be heard.
You are.
Okay. Uh, I would like to appreciate you all for having joined this space. It's a good initiative you've made. Actually, we are all tied up to some duties, but we have decided to give this time to our precious state. Actually, from the topic is I only have a few things to add across. Uh, the border issue came in. This is not a new thing. We have been to this for the longest time. And actually, I personally, from my view, I don't blame the UPDF. This is something they have been introduced to. UPDF roams freely in the streets of Juba. Their vehicles can overspeed. They can hoot at you and you can... The only thing you can do is let them go. They roam in Juba like it's their home. Hmm? Now, actually to them, they are there to protect their space. Actually, it's like the border is even theirs. We are not even sharing it. It's theirs. These are directives from our government, actually. And I don't see a point where we should all come here, beat the drum that the government is doing this, while when the start of this, we were all quiet. When everything was starting here, everyone was here. No one, almost 70% of us never spoke a word about the UPDF in our country. We all thought, yes, we have a rebel group in South Sudan. Yes, the UPDF will handle it. This is what most of us had in mind. We never looked beyond that bar. We never looked beyond that. South Sudan, no matter what, will remain to be a sovereign state. We were all up to the Nasser issue, and I still remember the tweets when the Nasser thing was happening. The plan was written UPDF, and everyone was applauding when they were bombing in Nasser. Yeah, actually, to me, I don't blame the UPDF, and I don't regret it. Actually, I don't. We have all decided to bring this state down. Actually, it's a bad thing, but there's nothing we can do about it. I don't believe in beating drums that today we let's unite, yet in real sense we are not. I don't believe in lying. Just be honest with your feelings. Say out whatever you want to say. The real sense is most of you here act neutral, but that's not the case. We are not honest to the country. I just heard someone was speaking here and he was like, SPLM is strong and it can wipe out the UPDF. My brothers and sisters, we are lying ourselves. There's nothing like that. SPLM is not the old one. This is a new one. Because if SPLM was strong, SPLM needs no mercenaries to control the state. These are things we need to start off. This thing has happened. I happened to watch the statement from Bill Permit quarters, and to my shock is our people still call these people a sisterly country. That statement alone made me feel like, okay, we have a country owned by a few. This is not actually the country most of our parents died for. Yeah, I don't believe in that. I don't know how long it will take us, but let us watch. If the government will act, well and good. But one thing I'm sure of, expect no action from the government. Let me assure you, even if we come speak here, there's nothing will ever change. Yeah. So let us not be the drum that when we speak here, we will chase the Ugandans out. Even if we come together, if the government says nothing about it, we are nothing. Let us just have to know that. Maybe if someone is close to the government, speak to the government. If we don't have, then let's forget about it. I think that's all I have. Sorry, there's a bit interruption, so let me end there.
All right. I'll come to it. Yes, I think I go to 10, then I'll come back to the others. Yes. 10.
No, greetings to everyone. I hope you're getting me all.
Yeah, you are. We are getting you.
Um, with this case here, Jefferson has almost touched most of the things I was going to say. Though the only thing I can pick from where he said for us who come to the platforms and maybe some other people that are in other places they are in, the truth is we lie ourselves. We convince ourselves all is well, and we tell ourselves, yes, our country has reached a level of this and this, but the truth is we know where we lie and to what level we are in. The cases that arise due to either border issues, there are very many. It is not the first time we have heard of this. Kenya, it's the same story. Uganda has always been there, though people would not take it into a context of maybe it has reached the level of, okay, social media nowadays has made everything to be like more vocal. Everybody gets to get the news, other than those days where you'd only listen to news, but not everyone was a fan of news. Border issues have always been an issue. From either up the other side of Sudan, you come to Kenya, you come to Uganda, border issues are a big problem. And what makes them a big problem is the level of our foreign policies that a issue within a family. There's where you get to hear people saying, no, there's some things that are family bonded. Even if we want to let other people know what is happening in our family, there's some things we are going to keep to ourselves, and not everyone is supposed to know. It remains between you, your wife, and your children. Not even your the ones that gave birth to you. We will have to know about them. They'll get little information, but they will not get. Our country is known out. They know all your weaknesses from A to Z. Other countries are having more influence in that country, more than even people that you have put in power. To my shock is the level of UPDF soldiers that are entering South Sudan every day. These guys are having a bigger barracks than some other barracks that are in different states in South Sudan. You are harboring soldiers in your country. They're taking in armament every day and night. I was in Juba for a week, but every day I would see trucks moving, coming from Nimule, going to. And I'm like, what are they taking every day? The same people you are calling to your country to come and help you, you give them the rights to do whatever they want to you because they know your weaknesses. They know how poor you are and how they can handle you, either politically or in other aspects. Your foreign policy, there is a way, and there are people that are supposed to handle some issues. It's Bilpam to come up and write like either letters, I don't see it as the steps that South Sudan should have first passed through, letters that should have first got out before we hear Bilpam release the letter, or you expecting to hear a letter from the president of South Sudan. It's irrelevant. It's not even how it's supposed to be, but though it is what we are in. The same story we had those days when Ethiopia was having issues with the dam. And then you hear some of the leaders that were within the government having agreements with Egypt so that Egypt can bring its soldiers and harbor them in South Sudan at the border of South Sudan. How do you get somebody that's not even your neighbor to come and have its soldiers to point their guns to your neighbor? You're supposed to first have good policies with your neighbor, and then you can bring in a foreign person. But somebody that is far is the person you are treasuring more than someone that is close to you, next to you. So South Sudan is like everyone that is around us knows our weaknesses. We are known in out. So anyone can do whatever they want with us. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. That's the truth. The only good thing, me, I'm calling it something that is good because these things are happening early. It helps the generation that is coming to know, okay, yes, there is this and this that is a problem. Other than it taking long, and by the time you realize, okay, this is it's already too late. The points where you get to some countries whereby either the neighbors taken over a percentage of land, and it is now impossible to reverse that to maybe push them off. The same thing a previous speaker said, where he was talking of currencies that are Ugandan being used in some areas. How do you even allow that? Even at the border, immediately you cross the side of South Sudan, you come to the side of Uganda. Ugandans will not allow your money. You go to Kenya, it's the same thing. They will not allow you using your currency of Uganda. You check at the border of Uganda and Kenya. Immediately you leave that immigration office, you come to this side. Those people will act like as if they don't even know how the currency of Uganda looks like. The same thing, you cross and come to this side of Uganda, they'll pretend like they don't know that that is a Kenyan currency. We don't have that. We have become too reliant on people other than again looking to ourselves, and we say, okay, what is lacking within South Sudan? This and this, you handle it. South Sudan as a country is not supposed to face issues of hunger. You guys are blessed. You are having the biggest part of the Nile. Those that are having a small portion, they're utilizing it 20, 40 times more than what you are doing. You know, we coming to other countries is for us to learn, and we take what we have learned back home. But we can't take what we have learned from this side back home if the policies are not favorable. It doesn't need the whole nation to change the whole thing. It needs one man. You look at Ibrahim Traore. He's acting as an example to everyone. Most of African countries were buying bullets, but they had every resource to make their own bullets. From nowhere, the likes of Uganda borrowed an idea. Museveni comes and puts up an industry, a factory that makes guns, and it makes ammunition, it makes bullets, it's making big army trucks. The likes of South Sudan are pitched in, and then they're like, okay, even as we want a piece of that, we are going to invest in that. Where is that factory constructed? Uganda. Who are going to work in it? Ugandans. Does it value? Is it adding any value to you? Why can't you say, okay, fine, let us open one branch in Uganda, there is another branch in South Sudan, and yes, but you're making someone move you. Everywhere he points is where you are going. Our foreign policy is very poor. That is the problem we are facing. It's not maybe either UPDF or whatever, no. It's the policies that we are having. If I say we have poor leaders, that someone might get angry and say, that is not good either because the uncle anyone. Yes, I might have relatives that are in the government, but the truth is the truth. The people that lead us, yes, they might be strong. They've done it all from every level that they're required to do it, but the issue comes in with how you portray yourself to the people that are near you. Either you are the weakest, you are the poorest country, you let people respect you. South Sudan has no respect in East Africa. Nobody respects you. They just look at you as another number that was added. That is all. Even the likes of Eritrea, people respect Eritrea more than even South Sudan because they know less of Eritrea. People know nothing about Eritrea, but they respect Eritrea more than they respect South Sudan. South Sudan is like the footstep of East Africa. It's like what people put their foot on. Even the Congo that is having commotion and a lot of issues, it's more respected than South Sudan that is having its fair share of problems. But why? We have opened ourselves to the world, not we people that are maybe out, that are in either refugee camps or whatever, but the government that we are having. You are showing people your weaknesses, which is not the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, my point is, even if we talk of the solutions, I don't think we have anything. All we have to just do is maybe awareness to those that don't know what is going on. And the fact is, foreign policies are very poor. South Sudan foreign policies, very, very poor. I think they're the worst in East Africa. Because you talk of issues that happen, like the scenario that happened in Rwanda, it's social media that is bringing it up. None of people that are representing South Sudan within Rwanda are coming out to speak. Incidents happen in Uganda here, the ambassador is nowhere to be seen. You find other ambassadors coming to fight for South Sudanese, and you're like, now, if other ambassadors are coming in to pitch in for South Sudan, what of our own? What is the point of him being there? So such things, if they're not corrected, that is the same way it's going to go. We'll hear of maybe some other neighbor, either it's Chad or who, any other neighbor that will have come, you'll they're also wanting. It begins from one, and then others do it. The moment you lose this case of Uganda, trust me, you're going to lose the one for Nairobi. I mean for Kenya. From Kenya, you lose some other case. You might find even a BI being taken. So it begins from one. People see, those ones are to hell with them, they're very weak. You'll find them saying, now a BI is ours permanent. It's up to you to choose whatever you want. That is how it happens. So this, it's an eye-opener to everyone, either to the government or to who, it's up to them. They will come and tell us, yes, general this and general this will come and sit and then they find a resolution. But the truth is, if Uganda say they're going to take this portion and this portion, trust me, Uganda is going to take it because of the policies that I told you. So I've taken very long, and that was not the intention. The main thing is for me just to tell you that it's the foreign policy that is very poor with South Sudan. The rest of the things, that the normal usual things that we know. We have to accept what is going on, other than lying to ourselves that yes, there is where we have reached, either in our foreign policies or within the policies within the country. No. The truth is, it just keeps worsening every day because people, they don't look at the problems that are recurring. You find them sitting down and saying, okay, we shall resolve this, and then they sit over it. It's let go of. When things cool, they pretend like it's solved, and the truth is, it's never solved.
Okay.
Anyway, I've spoken a lot, and other speakers, other people also want to say, I'm sorry for the time that I've taken. Though at times it becomes too personal, and it hurts and it annoys that it's the country that we love, that our parents have died for.
It's understandable.
It's like they wasted their time to fight and die for the country, and at the end of the day, it's just getting worse. And that's at times it's the feeling and then that emotional part that comes in. But I didn't intend to have more time.
It's okay.